Now, you know your job, you know your stuff, but sometimes when you're speaking in English at work, you might be sounding a little less confident than you actually are. And the reason isn't because of your English level. It's because of some tiny phrases that you're likely using that make you sound hesitant, less certain, and less senior than you intend. So today I'll show you 10 of them and what to say instead so that you sound more confident and more senior when you're speaking English at work. Let's dive in. Now, in all my years working in corporate, these junior sounding phrases tend to fall into one of two buckets. So the first bucket are phrases that make you sound uncertain, like you're not confident in your own ideas. And then bucket two are phrases that make you sound overly apologetic. And both of these are really career speed bumps. So let's fix the first bucket, the uncertainty phrases first, because these are really the ones that are holding people back the most. So let's start with the biggest one, I think or I feel like. To be clear, there's nothing wrong with saying I think. Native speakers use it all the time. Senior leaders use it all the time. So don't misunderstand me. I'm not saying that you should never say I think at work. The problem is when you overuse it, when every opinion that you have starts with I think. Your language can start to sound more tentative than your actual expertise. Instead, you could say, here's something we can consider. Here's something we can consider. Or I'd propose prioritizing this project. So do you notice the difference? You're expressing your opinion, you're expressing your thought with more clarity, more confidence, more certainty. So again, this isn't about eliminating the phrase I think, it's just using it more intentionally instead of by default. Here's another phrase I hear all the time from incredibly smart, capable professionals. I don't know if this is right. And then what happens? They usually go on to share a perfectly reasonable idea. And so here's the problem with that phrase. You've already planted that seed of doubt in everybody's mind before they've even heard your point. Now, again, of course, there are times where expressing uncertainty is appropriate if you're truly guessing or if you're speaking outside of your area of expertise. But very often, people overuse this phrase just out of a habit. So instead, lead with the information that you do have. Based on what we've seen so far, I think we should delay this launch. Based on what we've seen so far, I think we should delay this launch. From the data we have, this seems like the best option. From the data we have, this seems like the best option. Or here's what I'm seeing. Here's what I'm seeing. So notice the difference there? You're not pretending to know everything. You're simply letting people evaluate your idea based on its own merits and not apologizing before you've even said it. Number 3, I'll try. If there's one phrase I would love for you to eliminate this week, it's this one. When you're always saying I'll try, it can make you sound less committed, less confident than you actually intend. It's not really signaling to the other person that you're capable, ready, and confident to take something on. So if the answer is yes, if it's something you're able to do, you could say something like, I'll take care of it by Friday. If something changes, I'll let you know by Wednesday. I'll take care of it by Friday. If something changes, I'll let you know by Wednesday. So if there's uncertainty, you can be specific about it. Or if you're not able to commit, but still want to sound more proactive, you can say, let me look into it and I'll get back to you. Let me look into it and I'll get back to you. Or Friday's my target and I'll keep you posted on my progress. Friday's my target and I'll keep you posted on my progress. So the goal here isn't to promise something that you can't deliver. It's to communicate confidently and clearly about what you can do. Number 4, this might not be important, but I hear this a lot from my students. On the surface, it might sound polite and considerate, but actually it signals that you don't really have enough trust in what you're about to share. And in a workplace setting, if you bring something up, it's usually because it is valuable and it is worth sharing, right? So instead of minimizing it, just say something like this. I noticed an issue with the report. That's it. State just what you want to say. Take out the beginning. I noticed an issue with the report. The numbers don't seem to add up. So you're still being respectful. You're just letting the importance of the point speak for itself instead of undercutting it before it lands. Number 5, I'm not very good at this. Now, some people say this to be self-deprecating, to sound vulnerable, or maybe even to be playful and make a joke. But the effect is you're telling people to lower their expectations about you. So instead of pre-framing yourself as not very skilled in an area or not very strong in something, frame it as though you're still learning about it. You're improving in it. I'm learning more about this. I'm learning more about this. Or I'm still getting comfortable with this. I'm still getting comfortable with this. I'm not fully across this yet, but here's what I see so far. I'm not fully across this yet, but here's what I see so far. So you're not pretending to be perfect or to know everything. You're just not leading with doubt about your own capabilities. All right, let's stop here for a pop quiz. Let's say you're in a meeting and you want to suggest a new approach. Do you say A, maybe we could try a different vendor, or B, I recommend we try a different vendor? Comment below either A or B, and I'll tell you if you're right. I read and reply to every single comment that I get on this channel. If this video is hitting home for you so far, if you found it helpful, give me some feedback by hitting the like button. It really helps the channel. Okay, let's move into bucket 2, which is the apology phrases. Oh, I'm sure a lot of these come from a good place. You're just trying to be polite. You're trying to be respectful. I get it. But in English-speaking workplace, over-apologizing, saying you're sorry for things you don't need to be sorry about, doesn't really signal respect. It signals a lack of confidence. So the first phrase in this bucket, it is phrase number 6. Sorry to bother you. This is probably the most common one. So you need something from a colleague. The first thing you say to them is, I'm really sorry to bother you, but you're not actually bothering them. You're just doing your job. So instead, you can just say, let me know when you have a moment. Let me know when you have a moment. Or if you want to be extra polite, you could say, could you let me know when you have a free moment to discuss? And then say what you need to talk to them about. Could you let me know when you have a free moment to discuss Project ABC, for example? So here you're respecting their time without apologizing for just doing your job. Number 7, I just wanted to. This is very common in email writing, and it's this tiny word just. For example, just wanted to follow up, or I just wanted to check in on. I just have a quick question. So it's this word just. It's a tiny word. It is very subtle. But every time you use it, every time you say just, you're really minimizing yourself. You're signaling, this isn't important. Please don't be annoyed with me. So eliminate the word entirely. Cut it out. Instead of, I just wanted to follow up, I wanted to check in on, I wanted to check in on, or I wanted to follow up on, or I had a quick question. I had a quick question. Clean, direct, professional. Phrase number 8, we're getting to the end of our list here. This might be a stupid question, but I hear this from some of my students a lot, and then they go on to ask a perfectly reasonable question that 3 other people in the room were probably also wondering as well. So they've really just made themselves seem unsure for no reason at all. Instead, you can say, I want to be sure I'm clear on this. I want to be sure I'm clear on this. Or, could I clarify something? Could I clarify something? Or, could you walk me through that part again? Could you walk me through that part again? Number 9, sorry for the delay. This one is a little tricky because there certainly are times where you should apologize for a delay. If you've kept somebody waiting, if you've inconvenienced them, it is absolutely appropriate and, in my opinion, necessary to say that you're sorry for that. But here's what I'm talking about. Sometimes some of my students will apologize for a delay when they don't have to, when maybe they've answered an email 4 hours later, or they haven't inconvenienced anyone at all. So in these situations where there's been no inconvenience to the other person, just eliminate the sentence entirely. Just answer the question or follow up with the information they've asked for. Just take the next appropriate action without apologizing. And last but certainly not least, it's not my fault, but This one is probably less about English and more about mindset. When something goes wrong, a more junior instinct is to immediately explain why you weren't responsible, why you had nothing to do with it. Oh, it's not my fault, I didn't know, or it's not my fault, nobody told me. So even if those things are true, that kind of a framing just makes you sound defensive. A more senior way to frame this would be, here's what happened, and here's what we're going to do about it. Here's what happened, and here's what we're going to do about it, or here's how we fix it. Here's how we fix it. So you're not accepting blame that isn't yours. You're just leading with solutions and not excuses. All right, guys, now here is your challenge for the week. Pick one of these phrases from the list, just one, the phrase that you use the most. It could be I think or just. And for this week at work, I want you to pay close attention to the English words that you're using. And every time you think you're going to say this phrase or say this word, I want you to swap it for a better alternative, one of the better phrases that I've given you. That's how change happens, just little by little, sometimes just one phrase at a time. Now, if this resonated with you, you are absolutely going to love this video that I have right here with some helpful tips on how to continue to keep speaking like a leader in English at work. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate all of you, and I'll see you in this video next.